Hi guys, how is it going? You already know it's a Thursday. It's your girl here, Ada B, and I'm live in the Music of the Soul radio station with my show Talks with Ada B. We're here every other Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Please, of course, make sure that you're following the socials at Talks with Ada B. Ada B is literally spelled A-D-A-B. I don't know how many times I have to keep spelling it for y'all, but it's A-D-A-B. Talks with Ada B. That's on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. But today, you know, I know some of you might have already known that I have a guest, but not many of you would have known, okay, that I was having somebody else join me in the studio. It's been a minute. He's been away, but he's been here at the same time, if that makes sense.
I'm back.
You heard it. That's Joe right there. How are you, Joe?
Hey, guys. I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Year, guys. Good to be back in the radio station. It's nice.
It's good to have you back. And we're going to get into these topics. There's a lot to talk about that's happening around the world because, yeah, everybody's crazy. I think we've lost the plot. Don't you agree? Don't you think we've lost the plot?
Wait, it's how many days in are we? 19 days in.
19
yeah,
days.
we got a while to go, man.
Listen, it's crazy. January's not even over and the world is already on the brink. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a few things I wanted to talk about today, but I was like, how do I narrow it down? I don't know how to narrow it down. But I thought we're just going to kick it off with the obvious. Mr. Tory Lanez.
Man.
Is it J-Star? What's his name?
I don't even know what his name is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest Tory fan, you know. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'm glad, and I wish more men would stop being fans of Tory Lanez and men like him. That'd be great.
Oh man!
Listen, the men have been doing a lot recently. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's going on.
Damn.
I don't know what's happening, but the true evil nature.
Give us. It's 9. Like I said, it's only been 19 days. Yeah, let's slowly ease into it. But yeah, I can't lie. The Tory thing. Do you know what? Because this has been going on for the last. Is it a year now? Has it like
2 years?
2 years, isn't it?
3 now, actually.
3
2
years
because it was like September 2020 time, I think.
Like that's when the first proper allegations took place. Yeah. Oh damn!
That's when the incident popped off. We were still in the middle of lockdown.
Yeah. Okay, yes. So like for the last 3 years, like the animosity has been growing
big time.
And yeah, man, everybody was questioning it from the jump whether he did it. Mm-hmm. Them questions has been put to bed because boy, he's guilty.
He's guilty
with a G.
They're giving up reasonable doubt.
With a G. He's guilty. What I took from that whole thing was the aftermath actually of that. Like people's kind of reactions. I guess the hip hop world's reaction. His dad coming into the limelight.
Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
I said, why
they said he was coming like a preacher, man.
Listen, why do people who are guilty always talk about God? Like, clearly you don't know God, because if you knew God, you would not be doing the things you're doing and then talk about God is going to protect, God is going to do good. Yes, he will do, but he gave justice to a victim. That's what he did.
I can understand the upset, and obviously, your son's behind bars now, so there's going to be that, emotional,
and for a long time as well. So it's not even like a.
Did they say how long he's gone for?
It's looking like a minimum of 20 years. And you know in America they don't charge because for every charge you get, you accumulate. And he's gonna have to run that consecutively.
My goodness,
it's looking like a minimum of 20 years. So his career is done, and he might be deported back to, what do you call it?
Toronto.
Yeah. So,
what was your take on it? Like the aftermath? Had you known from the jump that he's always been guilty? Or did you ever have like any speculations before? Like,
my only thing was I felt like, why is Meg protecting him? That was the only thing that always used to bother me. I knew he did it. I didn't doubt that he did it, but I didn't understand why she was protecting him. Yeah. That was confusing me. And I felt like, but that's also a classic symptom of somebody who's like in an abusive or a toxic situation is to protect the person that's harmed you. So there is that element, but then also the lies, because sis has just been lying.
Wait, who's been lying?
She said she stepped on glass.
Oh, you said she's been lying.
Yeah, she's just been lying from day one. So I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, you are the victim in this situation, and she's not the one who pressed charges. Remember, it's the state of California then. Yeah. So, people are getting onto her saying, you're a snitch or this. I'm like, bruh, she was
I think that was what it was. I think it was the culture that obviously she's in, like the hip hop culture, like stuff like that. You don't really want to say too much because obviously how it can be perceived in it. So I think that was kind of like the the thing she was fighting against is like, if I say too much, then it's gonna backfire.
Yeah.
So I can understand that side of protecting it. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. For a while, I was just like, boy, too many holes
in the story.
Yeah, don't know what's going on.
And Kelsey as well.
Yeah, go on.
No, sorry, and Kelsey, I was just saying.
And who?
Kelsey.
Oh, yeah.
The best friend. She was weird as well.
Did she speak up on the situation as well?
I mean, she kept saying, I'm not going to say nothing until we get to trial. I'm not going to say nothing until we get to trial.
See, yeah.
And then we got to trial, and then it was like...
Mute.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah, man.
And they had to play her own recording back to her.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
when the rest of the officer came. And then it was like, well, you said all of these things. You didn't sound under duress. You were... spilling that tea. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of corroborates with what the witness saw.
Oh my gosh.
What's going on here? Why now all of a sudden you can't remember? Like, it was just weird.
I found it funny, his dad trying to bring Rock Nation into the whole thing. He said, Jay-Z, you have to answer to this. I was thinking, bro, what's Jay-Z going to do?
Sit down somewhere.
What's Jay-Z going to do with this? I mean, as a label, yeah, I don't know their involvement in that. Like, whether they're going to have to...
There's
say
one
something.
Conspiracy that I found out there.
What?
Where somebody said that basically I think Rock Nation had approached Tory Lanez at one point to try and get him on, obviously to their label, and he refused at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so somebody will say that the reason why, you know, they kind of allowed this narrative to run is because, you know, they were trying to get back at Tory Lanez for not...
Right.
Yeah, and I was just like...
Interesting.
Listen, that's just such a... He did it. Like, he did it. Okay?
Right.
One thing that witness did not play about was the fact that he saw Tory Lanez fire that gun several times. He stood firm on that. You might have shaked him elsewhere, might have got him to slip Kelsey's name in there, but one thing that man made sure he repeated was, I saw that short, belligerent man fire that gun more than 4 times.
Oh,
okay?
Do you think this is going to affect his career? Do you think his career is done?
Do you know what? It's so weird. Hip-hop culture is so toxic that I feel like he'll come out and he'll be...
Yeah, I was just about to say, a couple of years, yeah, he's good to go still, I can't lie.
He is going to be glorified.
I wouldn't say glorified.
No,
whoa. I don't use the word glorified.
Respect
I think people will just... People got things to deal with, man. Over time, it's...
They're going to forget.
Yeah, over time it's going to pass. Or even if it doesn't pass, with enough PR, like, you can clean yourself up.
You shouldn't really be able to come back from shooting someone, though. That's my personal opinion.
I mean, the baby was in the same situation. He killed somebody. Do you remember?
I don't even know how he got away with that.
Yeah,
that
so like,
when I read that story, I was like, how did
you get it? So with enough PR, you can clean yourself up from a situation like this.
Well, I mean, he couldn't sell out any of his shows last year, so
because of this that was going on. Or
the baby, I think.
You're talking about the baby?
Yeah,
I was talking about Tory Lanez, sorry.
Something happened concerning him as well, but he couldn't sell out any of his shows. He was just handing out, you know, buy one, get one free in local, you know.
Oh, yeah, because I remember they were saying this, people kept saying that they thought his career was done, and I remember him saying something about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know if Tory is like done.
I don't know.
But I think, for the meantime, he's
got to be put on par.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll use this time not to make his head swell even more, but actually to like reflect, like he needs to deal with his anger issues because that is an angry man.
Yeah, that's not the best way to deal with stuff like that, man.
He's so short-tempered, like it's crazy. It's just bizarre to me. Now, anyways, he's got a new lawyer because clearly his old lawyer did not do the deed. Did not do the needful. And I'm like, sir, your sentencing is literally next week. Like, why are you bothering? But I guess all hope is not lost until he's...
Let's see how it goes, man. Yeah, man. Do you know when the sentencing is?
I think it's supposed to be the 28th of Jan.
Okay, so it's close, coming up.
Soon, yeah. It's literally in less than 10 days, so good luck to him.
Good luck to you, man.
For real.
Damn.
The only thing that got me was when Tory Lanez's dad said that he forgives Meg Thee Stallion. When he said
forgives her for what?
Meg Thee Stallion, I said this family is
forgives her for what?
Delusional.
What does he forgive her for?
For doing what she's done to I'm like, Tory Lanez, I'm like, what did she do?
See, this is a clear example of people. When people are emotionally stressed, they say things that just sound a bit mad. So yeah, boy, Yeah, I mean, we know that she was drunk that night as well, and she was. Yeah, I mean, some people are saying like, I've seen some wild stuff on social media. Some people have been saying that like she's not entirely like free of like blame, like obviously messing with someone like Tory. I think some people are saying stuff like, like his past or like things that he might have been involved in. Yeah, I mean,
he's known to be like quite a bit of an abuser, and he's also was dating her best friend. So why are you there? Like, why?
That's a whole different conversation. Not gonna lie.
Like, why are you messing with him?
That's a whole different conversation.
This is just bizarre, if you ask me. But so all of that, and then she's the one who invited him there. And then when he started trying to get on with Kylie, she wasn't happy about that. They've just decided.
Free my man Damson.
It was Amber Rose.
I'm actually upset. I'll be real. I'm very upset.
Lori Harvey.
What is this? I'm really upset, man.
What is happening?
And I'm not normally one to critique somebody for who you date, but man.
What is happening?
Damn, son. Somebody said, damn, son. Man, I'm annoyed. I'm pissed, man. I'm annoyed.
Okay, what exactly are you annoyed about? What's irritating you about it?
I'll be real. Okay. It all started with, I think he posted her on his social media, and she did the same a few days after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'll be real. I'll be so real. My thing is, cool. It's one thing if you want to take, like, this is somebody you envision that you can be with and spend the rest of your life with.
Right.
That's fine. Nobody can tell you otherwise, isn't it? But to see that in someone that has that sort of history, and not that she's been in, like, bad light per se.
We're not just talking about misogyny. What's happening?
Hold on. Let me land. Okay. Yeah. Let me cook. Yeah. To see somebody that's been in, like, she's been known to be with so many different men in it. Not because she jumps, but just because it ends and she's on to the next kind of thing. So to know that your woman or the person that you envision to be with has been here. I don't know. For me personally, I don't know. I wouldn't be accustomed to wanting to even pursue someone like that.
You know what
but then again, sorry to cut you short. Just to say, obviously, they are very public people, innit?
Yeah.
So their things are going to be public, innit? Whether that's through TMZ and people that are reporters, or maybe they put it out themselves off their own accord, innit? But someone like that has been everywhere, nah, man. I just wouldn't want that kind of vibe with me. Can't lie to you. That's not it, man.
I hear you. I definitely, I get that. I do
Free
get
my
that
man, Damson. Sorry, I don't
know that these guys. I thought the only person I actually thought that wanted to be with her on a serious level was obviously the guy she was engaged to many years ago.
Yes.
And possibly Michael B. Jordan. So when they split, I was like, oh, because I literally could have seen. I saw that ending in, like, possibly them getting engaged, married, because I like them together. But maybe that was just me projecting. But also, yeah, it might have been. But I'm just thinking, do these guys actually want to wife her in terms of
no? That's what I'm saying. If this is for fun, if this is for fun, this is like your trophy, babe. Then by all means,
like that's what it is.
But I don't think. Then again, I'm not damn interested. I don't know. But if this is a thing where this is just a trophy, like just someone that looks good beside you and you want to have a bit of fun with, by all means. But if it is somebody that, and I hope. I don't
know. The English boy might get stung.
I hope, Damson. I hope if it is somebody you actually going to take seriously, my brother,
might get stung. That's an American.
Stay away, man. Stay away, bro.
That is an American.
Well, who knows? Some people are saying they look good together. Like, he's doing. It's crazy. I heard something the other day. From a pod, didn't it? And they were basically talking about the Lori Harvey effect or the Lori Harvey energy. Okay. And it was basically like this idea of like not leaving things that don't serve you in it, because that's essentially what she does. Like, if this situation with this relationship doesn't serve her, she's out in it. So it was like, I remember there was a scenario that someone had sent into a pod, and they were basically saying that a friend wants to basically adopt that Lori Harvey kind of energy. Okay. But she's not Lori. She's not Lori Harvey-esque.
Jesus is Lord. What is going on?
So I think the people, the guys on the pod were saying like the friend is hating, because if your friend wants to kind of adopt that culture of being more confident and saying, if this doesn't serve me, I'm gone, I'm on to the next. Right. Then why are you now placing the looks as part of it? But then they were also saying that the person in question is, I think she's a mum of like two. She's a single mother, but she's a mum of two. Yeah. It's like, you got priorities, man, and plus you don't fit the ascribed look of
the rebirth of Kevin Samuels
of a Lori Harvey. No, I'm saying that's what the friend was saying. Oh. Who sent in and she wanted to know whether she was being like, if it was mean or if it was deserving to tell the friend.
Be having some of the finest people I've ever seen in my life. Some of the most hardworking, caring, loving men.
It's not about it's not even about the baby mum thing. It's more so telling you. Could you tell your friend, if your friend said, I want to adopt the Lori Harvey energy, but they don't look,
be like Lori Harvey. I just want to adopt that mentality.
I think the two are connected.
What?
What, would you feel like that's a bad friend to tell your friend, nah, you ain't got it like that?
Why am I telling my friend that? Do I not like my friend? Wait, hold on. Okay, so... Okay, why are we attaching looks to what you deserve in a situation? Or what?
Because the reason why Lori Harvey can do that is because part of it is because of how she looks.
But do you know that not everybody finds her attractive?
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
Like, there's loads of people that don't find her attractive. So it only works for the men that find her attractive.
No, but she's what we would call universally attractive, though. A good 80 to 90% of men would find Lori Harvey attractive.
And trust me, there are so many people that I would be surprised that, oh my gosh, these two go together, but like... At the end of the day, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so I don't think it's your friend's place to be telling you that. I'm so sorry. Like, get out of here. Like, if she wants to adopt that, she can adopt that if she wants. Okay? Period. Like, what does that even mean? What do you even... Can you apply the Lori Harvey effect?
Oh, that's her thing, innit? Lori Harvey's known to... If it doesn't serve her, she's out, innit? And I feel like that's cool. And then again, you got to remember, she's young, innit? I think she's like 25 or 26.
Yeah, she's 25.
Yeah, so she's not like she's older. Like, this is the age where you're supposed to be doing these kind of things.
She's just dating. It's just because she's a celebrity, she's a rich...
I think that's what it is. It's in the public eye. Yeah, exactly.
This is normal. This is what people do all the time. I know people who have been through way more men than that. And I don't mean that in a shady way. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, your average person, your day-to-day person can get through 3 relationships in a year. So let alone who has access to these affluent men.
That's funny.
I mean, I think where a lot of the maybe, you know, disgruntled comes from that, because she has access to these kind of men.
She does. This is her space. Yeah, like this is her space, isn't it?
Like, this is the guys that she sees every day.
This is her space.
But if you know anything about her mother, Marjorie Harvey, who was twice with heavy kingpin drug dealers.
Oh, raw.
Okay,
I didn't know
and
this.
she bounced as soon as they were locked up, as soon as it was no longer convenient for her, she was out of there. And she settled with Steve Harvey. I say settled because comparing the baby fathers, not the baby fathers, sorry, her exes to Steve Harvey come worlds apart.
I see.
So she clearly had a type. But when she realised, like, okay, yes, I want that lifestyle, but I don't want to be, you know, worried that my man's going to be in and out of jail and police are going to be raiding our home. Hey, Steve Harvey's been running her down for years. So she said, it's your turn now. It's your turn. Here I am. Let's go. And she's had a beautiful life since. Man. And her daughter clearly has caught the game and she's doing the same thing and she's living her best life. To this day, nobody knows who Lori Harvey's dad is. And she has the Harvey surname. That is not even her birth surname. Yeah. So it's her birth surname because that's what the mum gave her, but it's not her actual surname. That's not her father's name. So, I mean, child... Man. It is what it is. Like, Lori Harvey, she's young.
Free my man, damn son. I'm gonna keep saying
he's
free.
He's clearly happy to be next in line.
Boy.
Every photo,
flip it now, man. Unless, you know what? This might be tactical. You know, he knows the Lori Harvey effect. Maybe we got up a common project. I need some PR. And I need some PR. You know,
PR relationships are real.
Yeah, facts. So if that's I hope that's what it is, because I don't want my boy to go down like that, man. You can't.
Want him to go down like
you
that.
Can't, man. He can't.
Was introduced to you as a podcast. No, so not as a podcaster, as a radio host and presenter. Would you call yourself a podcaster as well, though?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Definitely a podcast host, radio host, whatever, just an overall host in general. Even whether or not put me at a wedding. At a
man of many talents.
I love that. I love that. I think that's brilliant. And why limit yourself? If you can do it, you know? So what's that journey been like for you? I mean, did you always know that you wanted to be like some sort of an entertainer, or was it just that like, hey, I just found this thing I really like and I'm quite good at it?
For me, it's even when I was a child, you know, just from a young age, it was always me standing up in front of my family.
Right.
You know, doing, you know, we would have family worship and we, you know, they'd say I was going to be a preacher, and I never, aspired to be that. But it was the voice. It was a voice that had kept it on being used in different ways. And I know that for me, even throughout my college years, I never really noticed it, in a sense. I would say that because if I had known that years ago, I would have dedicated time to really, really honing in on it, you know, in the sense of going into probably a discipline that taught me more. But it wasn't until really, I would say, about 11, 12 years ago, in a class, did a presentation. Classmate came up to me afterwards and she said, "Hey, do you do radio?" I'm like, "No, I don't do radio." "But you have such a voice for it. You should do it. So she invited me be a part of her team,
right?
Because she had a radio show here locally here in Orlando.
Yeah.
From there, it was. And I tell people this all the time. The moment that I stepped into that studio, and got on that mic, it just connected.
Yeah.
I almost equated to the movie Avatar, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, right?
Yeah.
And so for them to connect, they had to, with those, whatever they were considered, they had to be one.
Yeah.
And it was like me getting on that mic. It was like it connected with every fiber of my being, and I was able to excel.
Wow.
Did it feel right at home for you as soon as you got into the studio? Like it just felt like
I
this is
think
where...
that's the perfect way to put it. Right at home. That's the perfect way to put it.
I love that.
That's nice.
That is really dope. So, how come you decided to name your radio show Q's Radio?
Q's Radio itself, how that came about, that was strictly through Instagram. It started on Instagram probably about, man, it's been about 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm driving in my car.
Yeah.
I love listening to music just like the next person. Mm-hmm. And for me, anytime that I encounter something that I really love, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's somebody who's a dynamic speaker, artist, whatever it is, I want you to enjoy it just as much as I do. So as I'm driving in my car, I would pop on, do a video, say, hey, what's up? You're listening to Q's Radio. This is A to B. Whatever it was. Hey, this is Joe. Joe, he just dropped his dope track. Even though Joe said he can't sing, I don't believe it.
Not for anything, man.
I'm feeling he knows something. So by virtue of that, Q's Radio just became a mainstay. You know, these videos, and people would hit me up and say, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. And from there, you know, that's what became of it. 2022, dropped Q's Radio. Nice. As a podcast. Check it out, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to it.
And it's a really good podcast as well. And I love it. It's got a lot of, believers on there as well. And that's always nice to hear, how Christians are navigating the entertainment scene. So that definitely, when I went to actually check it out myself, I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is so different as well. Like you don't get something that's put on a platform, and it's really good to look at as well. Like aesthetically, the page is really nice.
I've got to check this out. I haven't checked it out myself.
Really
I've got to tap in.
Like the artist playlist and all of that kind of stuff. I think that's so cool. But what's the journey
appreciate that.
been like for you? Like, how have you found it getting to this point?
I mean, getting to this point, I mean, it's been a journey for sure. Only because we get in our own heads.
Yeah,
we get in our own heads with wanting everything to be perfect at times, and a lot of times it stops us from even taking one step. And it's just having these conversations with my friends and people over the years who just encouraged me, from my wife and for sure, my other close friends, and some people just pinned me down, and I think it just kind of grew from even after having the opportunity to do that radio show. It's called Let's Talk About Love.
Nice.
It was a relationship-based show. We talked about everything involving relationships, and that was a good starting point for me. And from there, I kind of put it down for a moment. I stepped away from doing, the show after 4 or 5 years of doing it, because then, God had blessed me to launch a ministry here in Orlando where I was connecting people. It was called Connect Orlando. And through that, hosting live events, where different artists are coming out to these events over a 7-year period. I mean, where it was young adults throughout the city of Orlando, just finding and connecting through life experiences. People meeting and forming relationships to where some of them got married.
Wow.
Nice.
People meeting and, meeting other content creators to where they were able to go into business with. I mean, so it was so many different things that were happening. And from that, the pandemic hit. And how do you pivot now because of all these live events that we were doing? What do we do? And so I transitioned to doing it virtually. And when I was doing it virtually, I'm like, man, you know what? This is giving me the feel of being on the radio again. Where I'm getting a chance to talk to people all over the place. People are just getting an opportunity to hear their story, what they're doing. And that's when the podcast idea really took off. But I was still hesitant because, I mean, I don't have the greatest mic. I don't have a studio. I don't have this. I don't have that. And my homeboy just stopped me one day. He was like, listen, give me a date. You're going to launch this podcast. And so I gave him a date. And he would check frequently, okay, where are we at? When am I going to hear it? What's going on? So he stayed on me, and I attribute a lot of that to having those people in your life that are going to push you. You know, they're not just going to let lazy. They know you have something, and they're going to push you to, you know, go and live that out.
Right.
That's really important that you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you two questions. One being like, I guess in the startup to this, like, did you have any like doubts? But then again, I think you've kind of answered my question by this statement you've given in regards to, like, you know, having a friend there. Because I was going to ask you again, like, how important you think it is, like, in your circle or like the relationship you form to have people that kind of push. Because, you know, whenever people have ideas and stuff, they always have this, you know, moment of self-doubt, or like, you know, how is this going to happen? How am I going to pan this out? Or, you know, where's the resources going to come from, and so forth. So it's really, really, really nice that people can kind of hear, and, you know, you're kind of like a living testament to, you know, having such a good, you know, backbone or good friendship. So like, how do you think, how important do you think that is in regards to, like, you know, getting these ideas out there of anybody who, you know, has an idea of something, whether it's in the creative venture, radio, podcast, TV, film, etc., etc. Like, how important is, like, you know, that backbone, and, like, you know, who's your support system essentially?
Yeah, no, I think that's vitally important. I mean, we've heard this phrase before: birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're flocking together, where are we going? Because not everybody is going where you're going. And so you got to make sure the pack that you're going with, they're navigating to the right place. Yeah. You know, and so just with that, the people that are part of my support system, it's huge. It's huge. It starts with at home. It starts at home with me, with just my wife, and how supportive she is, believing what I'm doing. You know, it starts with, you know, other friends that I've known growing up that have seen this in me. You know, and when I say support, it's not just words of encouragement. How can we help? What can we do, you know, to help you on this? You know, do you need this equipment? What else can you, all these different avenues that people decide they want to help with. So if you are looking to, you know, strive for whatever it is, you know, you have in you, surround yourself with people that are kind of doing that. Learn their story of how they did it, you know, and it starts to rub off on you, because obviously if the person hasn't done it before and is not doing anything, that may rub off on you as well, because you don't see examples. We talk about representation so much. Representation is important. You know, you see all these movies nowadays where now we're seeing faces that look like ours. That's giving the next generation hope that, okay, okay, I can aspire to do that.
Absolutely. And I think we definitely need that. Just segueing off a little bit, what you said, we need that representation, I think, of healthy, normal, functioning relationships again, because I just feel like that's one of the issues that seem to be very, very much prevalent online. You know, this whole gender wars, you know, men not liking women, women not liking men, and it just always feeling like the one needs to have the one up on the other. And you've mentioned being married, and you've mentioned your wife being your support system. So I'm really curious to hear from a man, you know, who has been married. I would love to know how long you've been married so far, and you know, just like what that journey's been like for you, and what advice you would give to the next generation coming up who are interested in actually having relationships and potentially being married, because I just feel like relationships and marriage at the moment especially get such bad rep, because we just have such bad examples everywhere.
No, I agree. This is one of my favorite topics, actually. You know, like I said, let's talk about love, because even before I was married, that was the show that I was doing. But now that I am, I can talk to it from a different perspective. It's taken such a huge hit, and it has taken such a huge hit to see healthy relationships, period. Not even talking about intimate ones. People don't know how to communicate with one another.
Nope.
That's true.
It stinks. It is horrible. And, you know, people have to learn, number one, how to communicate. Because a lot of times people run from confrontation, but confrontation is going to be things sometimes that help us move forward. Those hard conversations. But how do we navigate through that? You know, and a lot of people have a hard time navigating through that because they haven't had any examples of how to communicate. Maybe it was just arguing all the time, yelling, screaming, people walking out, throwing things, whatever it was. That's what they learned was the way to communicate. If you don't get your way, then you need this. You always hear people say, you just need to be happy. You just need to be happy. Whatever makes you happy. I'm not against anybody doing something that makes them happy. But a lot of times people do that at the expense of the people that care the most.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
And so we have to get the selfishness out of us. The selfishness out of us. But the information that I would give, just kind of like some encouragement that I would tell people, just really get to know who you are. You hear that all the time, but take time to really understand who you are.
That's a key one.
And this day and age of social media, people are giving you ideas and you see what they think you should be, but is that really the path that God may have laid out for you? You know, and so by virtue of that, getting to know who you are is going to help. Being you, being the real you, because that's who ever you get with is going to see. You cannot put up a front for your entire life. The parts of you are going to come out. The character, your core is going to come out. And not everybody is for you. Don't think that there is. I mean, not everybody is for you. And that's okay. That's okay. But there is someone that is matched for you, where you guys will be able to grow and build together, you know, in life, because you'll have some of the same values, same moral compass, you know, same direction. You're headed in the same way. And not only that, they will have your best interest at heart.
Wow, Quincy just dropped some gems out here today, man. I was just listening like, okay, let me take this down, let me take this down, let me take this down. Nah, that's crazy. No,
I love that. Thank you so much even for sharing that, because I think, to be honest, when I think about it, I don't hear enough men talking about marriages. I've come across on TikTok a few like podcasts. There's a few podcasts on there. And I mean, when they talk about marriages, it's always about, you know, the gender roles, but never talking about the love aspect of it, never talking about, you know, understanding who you are and, you know, presenting yourself in the relationship. It's never about, you know, this balance or this idea of mutual respect or understanding. It's always about the power dynamic. And you're right, because it is centered on selfishness. Everybody's looking to what they can gain from the relationship as opposed to what they can give. And I think that's just where we get it wrong. This younger generation, we get it really, really wrong, because it's everything is me, I. I mean, we were just talking about the Lori Harvey Effect earlier.
Oh boy!
About, you know, when you leave a situation when it's not serving you. So, you know, there's a balance that I think we're missing there, and we've kind of. I think taken certain pains and circumstances that we've heard, and we're like, oh, don't want that to be me. So we go into this mode of like super self-defense and wanting to protect ourselves so we don't repeat certain things, and then we end up actually missing out on really great connections, both just like on a friendship level and on an intimate level.
For sure.
No, I agree wholeheartely. And you mentioned Lori Harvey, and of course, obviously, she's in the news. Of course, everybody knew her for dating Michael B. Jordan, an American actor, and now, from what I see, she's now come over.
She's crossed the pond.
She's
so now
something new.
She's supposedly, but I read where, and you know, not to gossip or anything, but I read this where she has certain guys sign a non-disclosure agreement before they could even go on a date. Signing a non-disclosure agreement.
Crazy.
Whatever, that's just different. I'm not going to get on that. You know, let her live her life.
Did not even know that. Oh my gosh.
Let her live her life. But you're right. And what's happening is we are being taught about relationships by what we see on social media and media in general.
Yeah.
That's not where we're going to learn the best.
No.
Yeah.
There are some people, like you said, there's so much content out there. That's one thing that I say all the time on my show. There's so much content out there, a ton of it, but we have to be very mindful of what we're consuming.
Yeah.
Because whatever we consume, it does begin to show in our life.
Definitely.
More than consume whatever it is. And so from that, we've seen these examples of, okay, she's a baddie. He whatever they call the guys. What do they call guys? You know, I heard baddies for ladies. What do they call us? I don't know what the term is. Whatever it is. But you're getting together because of the physical aspects, and you're seeing all of these people
Yeah.
have had surgery, but it's being highlighted as what you're looking to obtain, and we're not taking the time. It's all physical exterior, and unfortunately, we're not looking at the interior, taking the time to at least to get to know that, because you wake up one day and that stuff fades. It does, no matter how much you try to keep it up. And I encourage you to keep yourself up. That's an important aspect too.
Yeah.
But understanding that if life throws that curveball, where something worth is sick in the hospital, is that person to be there to walk by your side, or not able to walk anymore? If you're something you have a mental challenge, and I'll open up about my mom. You know, she passed away back in 2017, and she passed away from Alzheimer's. Yeah, thank you. And she suffered from dementia, but to see the care and that my dad had, and being there every step of the way, that shows the goldenness of what is truly important. Having that, and I'm pretty sure everyone would want to have something like that, opposed to going through these dark times in life where that person couldn't care less for you.
Absolutely. And you're so right in that, like, I think the looks do fade. I mean, not to bring it back to I guess ratchet television, but I used to be a big fan of the show. Television. I mean, it really is ratchet. The reality TV show Love and Hip Hop. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Entertaining. Is it?
Say again?
It's entertaining. It's
entertaining, yeah. So I used to love the Atlanta series. That was my favourite. And it got to a point where I'd get so annoyed by what was happening on screen. I'm like, why are they taking this disrespect? And then I realised when I'm talking to my friends and like we're talking about the episodes, we're getting genuinely so upset. And we realised at that point, like this is when we were like still in uni, we realised at that point we have to stop watching these shows. Because we're actually getting to the point like where we're getting so upset, like, why do these men feel like they can do this? Why are these women like what's going, like, we're getting so invested. And at that time, we were just thinking, no, we're getting too invested in a reality TV show. Like, we don't even know how it really is, but our emotions are getting flared up. So imagine if you're watching these things from, like, morning to morning, Monday to Monday. Like, you're watching various different types of this kind of content. Before you know it, like you said, you're enacting these things in your day-to-day life. And these things are harmful. It's fun to watch, but it's so harmful to actually live and be that way. And I don't like the fact that, you know, being toxic for a while has just been like glorified, you know, being like, you know, not being cold to the person you like, or, you know, I don't know, playing all of these games, like mind games and stuff like that. Like, oh, if they text me today, I'm not going to text them for 3 days to see if they still really like me, or all of this weird stuff, like all of these tests that people are putting each other through. It's so weird, but
unnecessary.
And very unnecessary. I'm just like, it should not be this complicated. But yeah, I think we have a lot of like unlearning and healing, and
for sure
a lot of growing to do.
I was just saying, think about, you know, from the moment that we've been born. I'm 43, right? So I have
black don't crack.
23 years from, you know, just a lot of life, a lot of things that I've learned over these 43 years, and however old you all may be. And think about how much you've learned in that time period. How much of it is correct? How much of it do we need to unlearn, like you said, and correct? And because it comes out in how we live out our lives, and we end up finding out, okay, man, that wasn't the right way to do it. This day and age, I say we have the pendulum has swung two ways. to where now I'm so happy to see people being very brave to understand the truth of how we should treat one another.
Yeah.
But then the pendulum has swung another way where there's no such thing as being wrong. There's no such thing as it's just not right. Live however you want to.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous place
Very
to be.
Dangerous. Very dangerous. Definitely. I mean, you're a great example of somebody. I mean, I don't know you that well, but I'm getting to know you and I'm getting to kind of understand a bit of your mind. And you definitely sound like somebody who, I guess, has that value, for relationships in general. And I think that value for relationships has been lost with this generation a lot, because there's a lot of like new terms now. People are in talking stages for like 5 years. People are dating for 10 years before they even get to be in a relationship. There's no labels anymore. It's situationships and all sorts of things going on. But what I like about men like yourself is that you're real, you're honest, and you are a true representation of, people that still desire the family unit, people that still desire marriage and love. And that's important to see and hear, because, again, what's shown in, like, popular media is the complete opposite. And what your love has produced is, fatherhood for you. You mentioned having twins earlier, and I think that is, congratulations. How old are they? I'm saying congratulations.
They're 5, 10. and oddly enough, they're probably about to pull into this driveway in about 2 seconds. But no, they're 5, and it teaches you so much about yourself. So much about yourself. I know when people talk about when you get married, it teaches you a lot about yourself, because it does.
Yeah.
But having children also teaches you a lot about yourself, because you're married, it's just you and your spouse.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all are responsible for yourselves, responsible for protecting that relationship. But now these are other little humans walking around. Like, they need us.
Yeah.
Like, feed me, bathe me, wash me, do this, do that. But it's a great experience. It's a great experience just to know that you have the opportunity to provide such a huge impact and foundation for this little one that's going to grow one day to be and live their own life.
Yeah.
And just try as much as you can, being very prayerful about it, about what you're pouring into them, being mindful about how you talk to them, the conversations you have with them.
Yeah.
Because, as a parent, you have this protective mode. You want to protect them from everything. You can't. It's not possible. But what you can do is instill in them, provide them with a foundation, provide them with clear enough soil and clean enough soil, and plant seeds.
Yeah.
And water them. Let the sun shine down on them.
Yeah.
They will grow and can start making those decisions on their own, to where they are going to be mindful individuals growing up, want to show love to any and everyone, regardless of what their belief system is, but also knowing that I can love you, but I don't necessarily have to agree with you.
Yeah.
And so there's different ways just of, this experience and this journey that we're on.
I mean, I'm intrigued actually, because you talk about fatherhood. Obviously, me being a man myself, like, I'm really intrigued. Like, I always wonder whether like when you get into this stage of being a parent, whether there's things that you want to adopt, seeing your parents raise you, and things that you probably want to, like, I guess, break down, or I guess reconstruct. Like, if you could look back at how you were raised and the things that you feel like, could you take into this new age of parenthood, or would you want to leave certain things behind? What worked, what didn't work? Because I often wonder whether when people get into like parenthood, where it's like they've probably just been raised in a certain way, and they feel like obviously that's the manual that they're going to go into with raising kids. But I think every child, obviously, as you probably will get to know, is different. And each child probably, has a different user guide to the next child. So you got to treat them individually.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah. Love that. And you're right. I mean, nobody gives you a manual. Yeah. Like, you take these parenting classes, you can do all that stuff, but there's no written manual of, how to do it. I remember when they came, when they were born. I'm holding them, looking at them like, y'all are here. Okay, this thing is real. And so you pull on the experiences that you had, things that you know that you did enjoy, that you know that you felt were healthy, were healthy. And you do want to, you know, provide that same thing for your children. But I'm pretty sure there are some things that you wish that were done a little different because you've learned now and you've grown. And so those things you try to stay away from. But I'm telling you that, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And like you were talking about unlearning things, you have to unlearn it. Like you were talking about, Joe, just each child is different. Yeah, they're twins. People used to ask us all the time, they're twins. They're so much alike. I mean, number one, they're boy and girl, so they're not that
different. Yeah, same. Yeah.
Because I remember people used to tell us that they were are they identical? And I sat there and thought for a while. I'm like, they're a boy and a girl. They're not identical, but it's just okay. I get where you're saying that they're twins, so people automatically think that. But you do get to know their personality, and you do cater to your style of parenting to each child, and trying your best to balance, you know, being fair with both, because it is telltale. You've heard love languages. You know, they have that book for children too, because they are way that they like certain things that they like more. And so being intentional and mindful about providing each child with what they like in regard to do you like receiving gifts? Do you like the quality time? What it is, you know, making sure you get to know your child and nurture them as much as possible. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. And I really love your approach to it. It sounds really more like realistic, one, and two, gentle. You know, I think a lot of us haven't had gentle parenting. You know, we've kind of had, you know, some of us have had dictators as parents, you know. Well, do this because I did it, it works, I want you to do the same thing, and that's final on that, you know, you don't have a say, you don't have a voice. But what I do like about, I guess, newer age parenting is that...
So this is real life. The twins are actually here right now.
Do you know what I realised? Obviously you're speaking with an accent real. And we haven't actually addressed where you're from. Because he's in a completely different time zone from us right now. So do you want to just let people know why you're picking your kids up from school at 9 p.m. UK time?
they attend night school. So, I'm here in Orlando, Florida. So we're 5 hours behind.
Okay.
It's almost 4 o'clock here.
Okay.
So, you know, that's what it is. So
prime time, school time,
It's out 3:30 for them.
There you go, guys. So when we say international, we mean international. Doing different time zones. But before you left, of course, we were just talking about, you know, the gentle parenting, and I wanted to kind of tie that into masculinity and, you know, what that means to you and how that's defined your perception of yourself as a husband and as a father.
Man, I love that, you know, because masculinity for years has had definitions. People have provided their answer to what they was. For years, men weren't supposed to cry. For years, men were supposed to be these strong, huge individuals that emotion-wise they were not. And what that caused, it caused a lot of pent-up anger. It has caused torn families. It has caused a lot of different things. But now the shift, in a sense, is coming from some people to define what masculinity is. But my definition of masculinity is just living your life, understanding, yes, you are man, but understanding there is so many different facets to you in regard to how you relate to the world. Understanding that subconsciously, most societies are going to see men as being leaders. And what does it mean to be a leader? It doesn't mean that you rule with an iron fist. No, a true leader is someone that understands what it is to follow and understands what it means to take and value other people's opinions and work together with, you know, others to come to a resolution or come to a decision. It is being mindful of women. Not
key.
as lesser.
That's key, right?
No,
there.
not as lesser. Not as lesser. No. As different, but not lesser.
Mm-hmm.
As understanding that there is a softness there.
Mm-hmm.
And we generally have kind of a more rough. I know my wife says, sometimes, and this is not TMI. I hope this show is clean. It's not going to be crazy. It's not going to be crazy. But she said, man, you have some heavy hands. You're strong. You're strong in the sense. And I didn't know sometimes, but I'm just, it's my wife. And, hey, who listens to this radio show? I don't know who. But I mean, you walking by your wife, you may give a little tap on the bottom.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, she's like, ow. I'm like, what was you mean, ow? Like, man, was that too hard? But you don't, just understanding that there is the difference and balance of that.
Yeah.
Understanding what it means to expose yourself and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That vulnerability, we can't do that.
Yeah.
It was taught to us we can't do that. I don't want to see you cry, because the other side of that is women were told falsely what masculinity should look like too.
Yeah, that's
and so
big.
Therefore, going off of that, you're pushing every man to be something, different. And so it is important, to know who you are, what you bring to the table, how you're contributing to society, not perpetuating stereotypical horrible behavior. But understanding there's a gentleness that's there, to where, yes, the way that I approach both my son and daughter is going to be from a male aspect. But it's going to provide them with a different side of it, but it's still going to be in a gentle way. Gentle doesn't mean soft, though. And I think that's what a lot of people mix up, is that if you're gentle, you're being soft. And being a man, being soft, that's not allowed.
No.
I remember even hearing one lady say, "My man better not cry in front of me, because I'm going to lose so much respect for him."
Bizarre.
That's a dangerous thing to do, because there's so many things that happen to us in life. And it does sometimes warrant tears. Though that's an emotional thing that they heal. Those tears can be healing. And I know for me, just thinking of masculinity and fatherhood, over the pandemic, God just kind of placed on my heart to do a Zoom call. I mean, we were all quarantined, locked up, and it was a different time. And I know it took a toll on some people, if not all, mentally. Not something we've seen before. Mental health is being highlighted more nowadays because of what we see in society. And so God just kind of placed on my heart, just, hey, start a Zoom call with dads.
Nice.
Chopping it up with dads. That's what it was.
Nice. That's nice, man.
And
I love that.
we got on there, and the feedback that I got from the different guys was, man, this was so needed. Ladies always talk. There's more free, because it seems like universally it seems that way. Universally it may seem that you are more open. Comes to men, we're more closed. Is it safe to even share this? Because if I do share this, how are you going to view me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's very, very true.
That is true.
Being masculine enough to know that you can share, that you can open up. Just make sure it's a safe place, though, because not everybody is a safe place. For sure.
And that works for both ways, actually, with women, with men. Like, I think in friendships, I think it's really important to be discernful and know, where you're placing the things that you value, like who you're giving that to, who you're sharing that with, who you're opening up to, which is definitely, I think, a topic even for another day. But thank you so much, like, honestly, for sharing, like, your insights on that, your thoughts, your experience as well.
It was beautiful, man.
Because it's really, really uplifting. It's really encouraging. And I'm sure lots of people are going to feel so positive hearing that, especially coming from a man. Because, like I said, the narrative that plays online and on social media is the opposite of that. Do you know what I mean? So it's so good to see that, there's a black man who loves his wife, who loves his family, who has his faith, who knows himself, and is, willing and prepared to do the work, to protect his family and to continue to grow as a person, That's so important. So I really, really appreciate
Shout out to you, man.
sharing that. Like, it's honestly an honour and a privilege to be able to sit and talk with you and hear you speak the way that you have. But we do have to bring the show to a close.
Yeah.
So, I do, of course, I asked you to choose a game, and you were the first person to choose this game. Most people are just like, oh, I don't know nothing, so I'm not going to choose that. But you said, I know some things. So you chose the general knowledge quiz.
Wow.
So,
let's see how much I know.
we're going to put it to the test right now. So, in the general knowledge quiz, I'll just ask you random questions, and you've got to answer them correctly within 10 seconds. If you don't, then the answer's wrong, even if you get it right after the 10 seconds.
Oh, wow. Ruthless, that one.
So, are you prepared to take on that challenge? I'm putting on the timer.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so 10 seconds. Joe, can I trust you?
Yeah.
What was the most popular girl's name in the UK? Oh no, you wouldn't know this. I'm just doing too much. Okay. Which popular video game franchise has released games with the subtitles World at War and Black Ops?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Man, I'm not a gamer. I'm going to say that. I want to say Black Ops and World of Warcraft, Halo.
No, and I didn't even press the timer. So
I was counting.
Yeah, okay.
5, 4, 3.
What was the popular video game franchise has released games with the subtitles World at War and Black Ops?
I see it in my mind, but I can't think of the name. Say it, and if you say it, I'll know it.
Should I say the answer?
Yeah, you can.
I think it's Modern Warfare.
No.
It's not.
Nope.
It's
Modern
just
Warfare is one of the titles of...
Call of Duty. Sorry.
Duty,
My apologies. Oh, wow.
That's what it is.
Bad example. I'm a bad example.
That's okay. That was just the first question, and I need to remember to set the timer. Maybe actually,
I can't be the first person to get all. Yeah. I can't be the first to get all of them wrong. I gotta set the precedent.
Okay. While Joe sets that timer.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay. What is the currency of Denmark?
Was it Deutsch?
Gosh, I even have to get the answer myself.
And that's time.
Is that time?
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? It's called the...
Krone.
I would have known that.
It's called the Krone.
Definitely wouldn't have known that.
I didn't know that at all. I was hoping somebody did, but it was not going to be me.
0 for 2.
Okay. This might be really, really hard, but it might. If it's your favourite chocolate, it might not be. What was the old name for a Snickers bar? Timer.
They had something before they called it Snickers?
Yep. That pretty much answers that question.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was
time.
Yeah, I'm interested to know this. What was the name?
It was called Marathon.
Marathon.
Yeah, and they brought it back for a little while. I can't remember when, like a couple of years back.
Marathon. Yeah. That's a terrible chocolate name. I would not buy that.
That's why they changed it to Snickers.
Marathon.
Yeah, they said that didn't work. So
that's a terrible name.
It made sense.
Okay, this is your fourth question, right?
Yeah.
It is the fourth. Yes.
So we'll give you 2 more after this. I won't say too much. Okay. The next question. Ooh. Continental United States has 4 time zones. Can you name them? Time.
Yeah, so there's the Eastern time zone, the Central time zone, the Western time zone, and when we start getting out to Hawaii, the Pacific time zone.
Oh!
Mountain time.
Well, let's see
Eastern,
if you're right.
Central, Mountain, and Pacific, yeah.
You got it in there in the nick of time. We'll give you that. Just in the nick of time. You got in there. You're right.
I forget that we... Yep.
Central and Eastern, you're right.
Yeah, I forget that we have all those.
Yeah, you do. Okay. The next question. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this might be too difficult, but if you've watched the show, it might not be. Name the coffee shop in the US sitcom Friends. The coffee shop
Oh, this is
in the
easy.
US.
This is
I do have a story. I do have a story about that. I don't have the answer, but I do have a story.
interesting.
Real quick story. Spent the summer in Indonesia with a family.
Yeah.
Their daughters loved Friends.
Right.
I can't stand Friends. They bought the whole DVD set and
What?
watched all seasons, and I would sit there tuned out. They just.
That's torture.
How many seasons is it? Is it 15? No, it can't be 15.
It's like nine, 10, or
yeah.
I have no. All I
Oh,
know
wow.
it was enough episodes. What was the name of it?
Central Perk.
That's it. Central play on words with Central Park.
Oddly
Central
enough,
Perk.
I knew it was going to be Perk was going to be one of them, but I didn't know Central Perk.
Right, I'm giving you really easy ones because I gave you all US ones, so I'm now going to have to give you one that's international. And this is going to be your fifth question.
Fifth question.
Yeah.
One more.
So your fifth question is, oh my gosh, what year did Tony Blair become British Prime Minister?
That's so bad.
Tony Blair, actually, Tony Blair. I remember watching C-SPAN and seeing Tony Blair.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, what year did he become Prime Minister?
what year?
Time.
Dun, dun, dun. Time is
2010. Was it 2010?
definitely not 2010, and time is up. It was 1997.
Damn.
He was Prime Minister for a long time now that I think about
That's
it.
crazy. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what, we heard him wrong. We heard him wrong.
Oh, sorry.
So that means he became Prime Minister my freshman year in college.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I was still in diapers.
Thank you.
Pampers. Sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is your last question, okay? And I hope it's another international
I hope
one.
so too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What is the capital of New Zealand?
New Zealand City? I mean, I don't know.
That's not a bad guess. New Zealand City. That's time.
I'm so sorry. The answer is Wellington. I would never have guessed that.
That's a
What about
terrible
you?
name as
Yeah,
well.
Wellington. What kind of a city name is that? Come on,
Terrible
New Zealand.
name. Wellington.
But that means you've only
Isn't there
got...
Wellington in the UK?
No.
Wellington? No.
No, there isn't a Wellington. We have some other things, but not Wellington. But that means you only got one question out of the 6 right.
I'm
But
surprised.
100% for effort.
Always.
And I'm so grateful that you played the game. Thank you for being a good sport.
Yeah, no doubt. It's all good.
And thank you so much for coming on the show. Please plug yourself, tell people where to find you,
Yes.
find the radio show, the podcast, and all things you.
Yeah. So Quincy J. Williams, Hughes Radio Podcast, Dope Music, Great Conversation, Elevation. And so you can check that out on any of your streaming, wherever you get your podcasts. It doesn't matter, Apple, Spotify, and season 3, which your host, Ada B, is going to be a part of. She's going to be on one of the episodes. You're going to be able to check out my YouTube channel. It's dropping February 13th. That's when the YouTube channel will be live.
Nice.
Hughes Radio Podcast. Look it up. Check me out on IG, Hughes Radio Podcast. That's what it is.